welcome back. Inside the Books, episode number 2.
Yeah, yes, sir. So we were just getting into the juicy stuff, and now we get into the game, the real game. We started from several years ago, and we worked our way up to almost present day. But now we're going to get into the good stuff. We're going to get into some of this real estate game and how this is playing out for you. So we already talked about, like I said, where the things that happen on the job, the move, and all that. So eventually you got back into the real estate game, kind of for the second go round, right? So first off, real quick, what do you think that you learned this time, or coming into the game? Was there anything that you were like, you know what I mean, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm going to change this again right off the bat from the previous experience that you had?
Well, I mean, the first go around, and it's partially how a lot of us are brought up, to where the mindset was don't use credit, cash is king, and cash is actually trash. 100K in the shoebox, you can kiss my... Because at the end of the day, you can have all the cash in the world, but if you don't have access to credit, you're limited on the things you can actually do. So reestablishing my credit, and a lot of reading, and really trying to diversify my mind so I could diversify my portfolio and be able to have these multiple streams coming in different sectors, but still stay true to myself, which is my passion for houses and cars and those two industries. And a long-term goal is to own a bank one day and be the bank, which that's a whole other goal and a whole another story that hopefully a couple of years from now we can come back and say
that one.
The bank of 615, or
Right.
the whole journey. But yeah, so basically just being more strategic as you run plays and as you put processes and structure in place to make sure that you're set up to be able to withstand the storm. But the first part is like, how do you even get access to the capital,
Right.
to make some of the moves that you want to make? So, and that's when you talk about good debt and bad debt a little bit. So, good debt is when you take a credit card, you take a loan, you use that money from the credit card or a loan to help you generate income. And that's what I did sometimes with the cars. So even the buy here, pay here things that we ran ourselves. So I took a 28% interest loan before, which sounds absolutely crazy.
Right? Yeah, and that's the thing that I know about you. There's a couple of things. Is for A, you're not afraid to take a chance, right? Because you gotta bet on yourself, and B, like you said, that brings you to taking, like you said, you don't mind the interest rate, right? Because you got a plan,
right? You got to make it make sense, and this is how deep we get. And, a lot of the coaching and the development that I do when I help people establish their business and look at it from, a different vantage point, the outside looking in, with somebody who's not only done it on their own, but done it on a corporate level too. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gives you, the best of both worlds when I'm working with my clients. But it's key to how do we even get started? And people always think you got to have this ton of money to get into real estate or create that generational wealth. No, you just got to have a good plan to be able to execute on it. So a 28% interest loan, used the wrong way, will kill you.
Right.
So I look at a situation. I could take a $5,000 loan, 28% from multiple different lenders. I'm not going to get into that and plug them and get in more business right now. But there's 6-7 different lenders out there that will give you these crazy interest rate loans. They're not guaranteed, so their risk factor is higher. So they deserve to get a little bit more interest because the risk factor is higher. But it's highway robbery for most people because most people are not using it to make money.
Right, and that's where you can get into family members and everything. Oh, that's crazy to take out a loan. Don't do that. But if you have a plan and you have you're like you say, you're not just taking out a loan to go do stupid stuff with it and buy it. So what'd you do? So you got this crazy.
I'll give you a quick example. So, I took out a $5,000 loan. Payment was around $420 a month. But with that $5,000, I was able to buy 3 cars. But once again, you leverage your relationship. So 3 cars came to around $8,000. But once again, leveraging the relationships, they allowed me to owe them the balance and trusted me to give me the title still. So now I got 3 cars for $8,000. able to sell them for close to 13 when you add up all the sale prices.
Mm-hmm.
One of them sell cash, and this is how you got to do things the right way. So sell one for cash, make a little bit of profit, but the reason to sell the one for cash is so I can pay off the $3,000 that I owe to stay true and make sure I want to do that within 30 days. And then the other two, I'm gonna do buy here, pay here, and I'm getting $400 payments off of both. So now I got $800 of passive income coming in, and then I got that payment that I got to pay out. So the interest rates are relevant because I got profit coming in, and I'm not gonna take the time to do the math right now. But if you're watching, you do the math on 800 coming in and the amount of that payment going out, and what's the cash on cash return. It makes sense. So the interest rate, is irrelevant because the customers are going to pay that loan down, and then that profit is helping me drive the vehicle that me and my wife will want to drive.
All right. So, so you got back into that, and it eventually.
So that was kind of like for 2015 on up, just making plays like that to help keep this buy here, pay here fleet on, because the goal was to have $1,500 to $2,000 coming on from passive income. So once again, it's like, okay, now this is a proven strategy. So now how do we take it up a level? So how do I go from being able to get these $5,000 unsecured loans to get 10, 15, 20,000, which is a little bit scarier. And that's where I made a big mistake. But you got to learn from your mistakes. So start looking for property because made a decision, want to get back into real estate. We got the one property that we had. Then we come and we buy another property that's our primary, so our former primary that turns into a rental property. Only actually it wasn't cash flowing, it was negative to be honest, but the equity in the house. So it was negative. We wasn't making profit on it. So now how do we get this passive income? So made a goal that wanted to acquire 10 properties. Well, not 10 properties, 10 doors. People get confused from properties and doors. So doors are the amount of units that you have because you could have 100 units, but it could be 15 properties if you got these big multi-families.
Right.
So long story short, start looking. Didn't have a lot of money. Had under 20K, available. Had a savings that we wasn't going to touch because we spent a lot of money moving, getting married, all that good stuff. So had this saving. It was like fun you're not going to touch, but still wasn't at the level of a savings to where I felt comfortable and if I lost my job that day and these people stopped paying us on the accounts that we had, could we get past a year? No, because our expenses are pretty high, you know what I mean? So that wasn't where it needed to be. So didn't want to touch that money. So use what we had between cash and credit, which was right around, $20,000, and had my eye on a bunch of properties, but one that really stuck to me and they initially wanted 50 grand for it was a fourplex. Needed some work, but not a ton of work. So I'm like, how do we get this fourplex? So put in a bunch of offers. So I'm like, now I need to secure more money in case some of these offers go through. Then get with my guy Wayman. He has some of the same passion. He wants to get in real estate too. Help him reestablish some stuff. It was just about fixing some utilization, and he was able to get some decent loans just off of some of the information that I shared with him. So he came in and, me, him, and my wife, we went in and we got that first deal, which was that fourplex. Ended up getting them down to in the mid 30s, around 35,000 for it.
Wow. So you got a fourplex for around 35,000.
35,000 came to a little bit over 40, 41, 42-ish with closing costs and everything. And we bought that cash. Between the cash that I had, used a little bit of credit, and then was able to get him a credit line to use as his half. So now we own this property.
So you're doing unconventional plays to get this done. Some cash, a mix of high interest rate credit, loans or whatever you needed to do to get the deal done.
Yeah. So if we pull that play, we own that free and clear. So now start working on relationships with different lenders.
Hold on, real quick before we go on. What's that end up bringing in for you now? You paid. Did you have to put a lot of work into this one, or did you?
Yeah, 15 to 20,000 ish. Didn't do it all at once. The first floor was ready to go, so immediately got a Section 8 tenant in on that one. So got first month security $550. Then worked on 2 of the second floor units. Fixed one, put somebody in it. Fixed the next one, put somebody in it. Then worked on the last one. So it took under 2 months to get them all up and running. But as each one got fixed, we put tenants in there because I created a waiting list by promoting earlier on that these properties were going to be coming available. So had plenty of people that wanted to get in, but that was kind of the structured approach that we took to get in, make a little bit of money, put it in, and get it all done. But we made mistakes. I took the loans too early, so I'm paying a monthly payment on some of the loans while I'm trying to find the property. So that was a big mistake. Then cheap isn't always the best, and we went with the cheapest person that we can get to do some of the work, and then we had to go back in and redo some of the work. But we go into detail, like once you become part of the team, Grow With Me 2021. The mentorship and all that good stuff. Like we go deep,
the details,
give the scenarios, everything, so you don't make some of the mistakes that we made. But that was the beginning, and then within a few months, I pulled money out of there. Pulled 30 grand out. Appraisal came back at around 65K. Pulled 30 grand out, and it was easy to do because who wouldn't want that deal where a property's worth 65? It's a fourplex. And I'm only asking for 46, 47% of what it's worth.
Right.
So they immediately did that with no problem. Didn't have to wait for no seasoning. Took that money and went and got 2 more units, and then just kept it moving. And then we fast forward.
So we're gonna fast forward because there's a lot of game in between there that we can get to at some point or whatever. But fast forward. You started out with that 1, 2. Where are you at right now? How many doors do you have right now?
53 units. 53 units, but got a couple that we're in the process of selling. Some of them on the rent to own, so I'll still count those units because we'll be in the bank. So this is the first step of becoming a bank, where we got a lot of people who we wrote the paper on. We got about 12 of those deals. So 53 after some of these sales go through, we'll be down to 51. My goal is by February to be up to 60.
Nice.
So that's kind of where we're sitting right now.
That's a crazy play. That's crazy. I mean, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it,
man. And then also from that you got even deeper into the car game, right? Because when we left off, I think we were talking about the car game. You were still, not all the way official as far as. You were doing your deals or whatever, but you decided to take that to the next level as well at some point,
yeah,
right?
So basically shut down the core piece of 615 Entertainment for a minute, shut down the clothing store, because I didn't even talk about that. Like through the course of all this, we reestablished the clothing store online, a separate name. Nobody even knows it's our site, just completely separate. So, the haters who don't want to support, they're still supporting because nothing 615 is even related.
Right.
And then a lot of people even ask what is this whole 615 thing anyway?
That's a
they
good story.
think it's Tennessee, so 615 is June 15th. Me and my wife were both born on the same day, and
crazy. So y'all was both born on June 15th.
Both born on June 15th.
I know that, but I mean, that's wild, right?
Both passionate about music, both in entertainment, both in that leadership field. And one day I woke up we're going to start a company together, and we're going to call it 615. Her brother was a great artist. Boo Man, we miss you. Passed a few years ago, but he created the silhouette of the logo for us. So the 1 in the 615 is actually, a picture of me and her. That's that 1 in that 615. And, took that initial vision of 615 Entertainment, which was, heavy in the marketing and promotion in the entertainment industry, and, shifted that. But I mean, it's just been a lot. So we did that. We created our own wine brand called Decor Day. Did that to attribute a family member, and then, kind of both families. But that's another story. Got into a little situation to where my aunt didn't like the name and didn't see the appreciation of what I was trying to do, and was gonna try to sue us.
Well, I didn't even know that one.
So I ain't gonna go deep on there, but that's just crazy.
Right,
I'm doing something to try to tribute family and putting it all together, and it was going very well. So we kind of shelved that just because of that situation with the name, and didn't want to rebrand it. But that did real good. I mean, we sold over 250 cases in a short amount of time. Was working on some stuff with some reality people to get it featured in there, and it just was going really well. But once again, if you do too many things, something's gonna fall. So that's when we made that decision that real estate, in the auto industry, that's going to be our core focus. So we kind of let the other businesses slow down and put that focus there. So, 2018 went heavy, started scaling on the real estate side. 2019 opened 615 Auto Group. So now we're officially back in business. New brand, so that's in play. Then 2020 615 Rentals. Now we call it 615 Luxury Rentals because we're deeper on the luxury side. So it was like each year just adding more and more and more to what's going on. So, with 615 Homes, but then we got the property management piece of 615 Homes. So just multiple streams, but all coming off of the same umbrella.
And then the things that you're passionate about.
Right. But it goes back to having that solid foundation and people to play their position. And for a minute, me and my wife didn't see each other for a while because she was working nights, I was working days, because we were putting everything back into the businesses, and that's how we were able to scale so quick.
Discipline too.
Discipline. We didn't take anything out. And that question you asked me, you were like, what was the difference of coming back now versus before? The difference is how disciplined I am with the funds. Like, I'm not getting a 99-cent burger if I don't need to.
Right.
So, eating crap for a few years in order to live how we want to live later, that's what helped us get to this point. We bought a nice little house, it was 1,000 square feet before we came down here, managed the utilities very well, and start stacking our money up and come down here, rent it for a year, scope things out, start saving that money up, making good plays, getting a little bit of investment here, investment there, a little bit of stocks, nothing heavy, just learning everything and just diversifying what we're doing. A little bit of money here, a little bit of money here. I don't care if it was $100. If it was $100 invested, somewhere else, and then just continuing to be disciplined. And then as the money started coming in, still living the same way. The biggest change was, the house down here, but that was it. But even there, to start off, I had a roommate, rented some of the house space to the roommate to kind of offset the mortgage. So it's always, thinking ahead, how can we make it all make sense to live a little bit better life, but without having these crazy expenses. But, one thing that I always try to tell people when they're talking about purchasing that personal home, well, eat crap for a minute. Don't try to get your dream home the first time. Get an investment property the first time. Stay in that, do a house hack, then sell that, and go get your other house, or rent it out and go get your dream house down the road. But eat crap for a while and establish yourself, because I feel like everybody should have at least 5 rental properties. That's just me, to create that long-term generational wealth. And if you're somebody who don't want to be hands-on, then that's when you hire a property management firm.
Right, yeah. So man, that pretty much catches us up where we're at, and
almost because we were fresh off the 120-day challenge.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna dig deep. Yeah, we can definitely dig deeper into the 100, because I know you're big on these 120-day challenges.
Yeah, that's like been my life, like in business. Like, I don't know why this 120 days just always sticks. So I'm always doing some kind of, like, whether it's internal, external challenge, even in the corporate world, doing these challenges and trying to hit these goals that seem unachievable. So the latest one we ran was in the rental car industry. Trying to make $80,000 in 120 days, or should I say net? That's the key. But the whole time we're doing a challenge and we're documenting the process. Shout out to Matty J. I've never seen anybody document like he do. I thought I was pretty good, but he made me step my documentation game up. But documenting that whole journey, because at the end of the day, a lot of people say you have to do this, and this to be able to be successful in this rental car game. So wanted to kind of do it backwards and see where we could go in 120 days. And the goal was to do this 80,000 in 120 days. And we separated what we were doing from economy and luxury, and just created 2 separate lanes and scaled at a rapid pace. And right now we're sitting at 27 rentals.
Nice.
So 27 rentals, and we started.
I was about to say.
When we started the challenge, we were at 7. So we added additional 20 cars in 120 days. So that's rapid growth, and people are like, well, how'd you even do it? So that's that's the story that we break down and show you how to do a lot of this stuff. And that's Grow With Me 2021, the 4-week mastermind that's coming up. So I encourage you to tap in and sign up for that.
Yeah. If you really want to dig into how ShaVarr made some of these plays, you got to get that Grow With Me 2021 mastermind. You got to be a part of that, because you're gonna dig deep in that, right?
So super deep, and like we didn't even touch on like where we're at right now, and the level that we're at and what we're doing with the business credit and creating these profiles to set you up for these crazy plays.
Yeah, I
And
said there's some pretty intricate plays that there are plays I'm not gonna say anybody because you have to be disciplined, you have to, want it, and you have to be willing to do what you have to do. But it can be done, and there's some unconventional things that just aren't out there that you figured out, and it's gonna be crazy, man. A lot of people are gonna benefit from this. So be a little bit more about what's the breakdown on this Grow With Me 2021.
all right, so that just like the starting point, and it was supposed to start in 2020 to where I wanted to have a seminar down here in Atlanta. I was going to get John Maxwell to speak. I was going to reach out to some influential brothers and sisters and have it kind of a mix from leadership development to entrepreneur and business stuff and just blend it all together. Then COVID happened, so that wasn't able to happen. So then I just thought about everything that I've been doing these past 7-8 years and the people I've took on to work on one-on-one individually, and the people who've been reaching out and asking for information for all these different areas, whether it be credit, leadership, real estate, the rental cars. So I just thought about it, instead of bringing a bunch of people to do this event, I'll just create a 4-week mastermind to where we go from A to Z and kind of structure it to where it'll set you up to be able to really run some 6-figure plays. Because, you got to think, so we go from 2018 to being worth not even 150K to fast forward 2021 between the real estate and the cars, we're talking about nearly $5 million worth of assets with under $1 million in liability.
Run that back again.
So basically $5.2 million in assets with $869,000 in liabilities.
That's crazy.
So that means tomorrow we could sell everything and walk away with a little over $4 million, and disburse to our partners who've been investing with us, and everybody walk away pretty happy. Of course, that's not what we're doing, but once again, this is the blueprint that you're going to get when you be a part of Grow With Me 2021. 615 University's launching. That's going to be a growing animal, but the first 2 courses in 615 University, how to create 6 figures in 120 days in the rental car industry. And then the other one is how to create 6 figures in real estate while working a 9-to-5. So those are the first 2 courses that we're coming up with. And, really that 120 days, you can make 6 figures. You're not going to net 6 figures, but you can definitely make the 6 figures. And, we're going to break down the key steps to how you need to get there. But to go back to the mastermind, so it's 4 weeks. And each week it's a different topic. So session 1, we're going to be hitting on mindset, leadership development, personal credit. And we're not talking about fixing your credit. We're talking about profile, because
that's a difference, because that's why everybody does fixing your credit and all that. But
profile. So having the right profile is what's going to help you run these long-term plays and be fundable to create some real generational wealth by having the power of getting high dollar loans. So you got to have the right profile, and we'll be talking about what the right profile looks like and what are some of the steps you need to take to create that right profile. How many accounts you should even have to be appealing to the lenders, credit mix, all that good stuff. And then we'll give a brief introductory into the rental car business, which we'll dive deep into in session 2, where we're going to break down the rental car business, how to get in it, and not just Turo. Turo is going to be your entry port where you start and kind of get your feet wet and see if this is something you want to do long term. But we're going to tell you how to get in it, talk about how to get your dealer's license if you want to sell cars, and how to make those 2 tie together, because it's like a husband and wife, car sales and car rentals.
So how to bring you can do,
how to bring them 2 together create a happy wife, happy life type situation. So that's session 2. And then session 3, we'll be focused on building your business profile and building business credit. Because once again, we wouldn't be to the point where we're at right now if we didn't establish business credit. And once you get into the business credit, now you're getting situations to where you got large lines of credit that aren't going to show on the personal side. So now you can run up your utilization a little bit longer. So that's what we'll be touching in session 3. Then session 4, 6 ways to get 6 figures in real estate.
Yeah.
6 ways to get 6 figures in real estate. That's session 4. We touch on everything from beginning for the first time home buyer, how to get that first home, how to get your closing costs paid, talking about the BRRRR strategies, talking about cross collateralization, a plethora of topics that'll be discussed on the real estate piece of Grow With Me 2021. And some people feel like they don't need all 4, so what we did was go in and change it up a little bit. It's $500 for all 4 weeks. That's $500 for all 4 weeks. But we'll have a promo code inside the books where you'll get $50 off for the first 10 people after we drop this episode. Then we got the VIP mentorship. We only got 4 slots left on the VIP mentorship. That's $1,500 versus the $3,000 I normally charge for that one-on-one mentorship. We're talking about working one-on-one for 90 days and really going to help you focus, create business plans, create the right setup so you can become a 6-figure earner if you're not there, or if you're just in a situation where you want to get promotable at work, we'll work on that, and also how you get some multiple streams of income. But it's in-depth one-on-one mentorship where we cover everything that we're covering and Grow With Me, but on a one-on-one basis to get more intimate and personalizing it specifically for you. Then once that 4-week mastermind is over, we're going to have monthly group calls, the private Facebook group. So it's just going to be ongoing. And everybody who attends Grow With Me 2021 will get the rental car course for free just as an added bonus. So, a lot of knowledge and a lot of wealth. I would be very disappointed if you let $500 stop you from getting $1 million worth of game, because best believe these low introductory prices won't be that way for long. But
basically, a course on how to get the bag, right, from the beginning, from the beginning to the details, and you get that coaching. And like you
creating
said,
a community, 615 University, like the vision for it is just to keep growing and creating it and putting something in place that doesn't really exist right now. And I can't go too deep because I don't want nobody trying to beat me to the punch with it, or beat us to the punch with what we're really about to do. But I wanted to put something out that's affordable to start, and can only take so many people on a one-on-one basis. So doing these group sessions are important, and it'll grow deeper from that. But
and again, that's how you got your start. It's like you said back when you took one of them first courses on how to get the bi-weekly joint too. So it's very important to invest in yourself. Like you said, don't let $500 stop you from getting $1 million in game.
And I know you were like, conversation that we had a few weeks ago when I told you the amount for the whole podcast mentorship. You were like, are you serious? No. But I'm like, once again, like, this isn't my lane, so it pays to be in the room and expedite.
Oh yeah, you mean what you was the
what got us here right now? Quicker.
Yeah. So he's talking about basically you invested a large amount on a course recently for you again continually learning and investing in yourself. So right, that's what it is. It's investing in yourself.
Yeah, because one thing about me is like I don't know everything, but guess what? I'll invest in myself to get the knowledge that I'm missing. So a lot of people come to me about Airbnb. I'm not the Airbnb king.
It's coming.
I haven't did any Airbnb, but guess what? My guy, Brickle Cigar, that's your guy for the Airbnbs. And we're going to be working on something very soon. And you never know, he might pop up at Grow With Me and give you guys a little bit of that Airbnb game. But he'll be one of the guests very, very soon. But he's done some crazy things. And me and him was kind of racing to see who's the first one, going to be the first one to get the 30 cars, because he recently started his Turo business doing great down there in Miami. But that's just like what we do, like-minded people just having conversation, networking, and establishing relationships, and just watching this entrepreneur community go. So remember, you don't have to be a rapper, you don't have to be a athlete, you don't have to be out there selling drugs and all that. And if you are out there in the streets, take what we're doing out here and apply that. Because guess what? You're already a businessman. If you're out there hustling, you're running a business. Mm-hmm. You're just running a risky business. So take some of this feedback, some of this guidance that you're getting from people like me, people like Maddie, people like Dave, and all the other people out here are doing it a positive light and had some checker pass, was able to turn things around. So let that be your motivation to see that you can do the same thing. Because guess what? We wake up with our clothes on the same way. So don't be in a box. Don't put yourself in a box and think that's the only way. So it's not too late to make that change and go in a different direction and, you know, prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's game right there. And
That's it. So, you know, this is episode 2, Inside the Books. Catch you on the next episode.
see you then.
Cut the check.